Karl's somewhere behind me with a live microphone. That should be fun. This looks very crooked. There we go. It's started out smelling like winter, but it ended up being like summer, but now it's back to fall again. So it's a little chilly in the air. If you know what I mean when I said it smells like winter's coming, then you've lived in the north for a while. Do you know what I mean when I say it smells like winter, Karl?
Yep.
Yeah, it smells like winter's coming. And this morning it did anyway, the first time you could smell frost. But it's still pretty up there. So how do you define that? I mean, you can smell winter is coming.
I don't use that metric. I would say that when the sun stops hitting.
Yeah, well, the sun is, it's there. It's bouncing off it's behind the house here, but it should still be up.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not, because you can see the shadow line. Yeah.
So
So that shadow line at this time of day is going to get higher and higher and higher until there is no sun, and we have to stay inside. But yeah, no, the sun is down. The sun is set. So it's 6:30. What time did the sun set now?
I don't know, but
He's
it's
not been outside
before
lately.
5 o'clock, and it doesn't go up until 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Is it 1 o'clock already that it's, ugh, winter's coming. Winter
I had
is
a
coming.
12 o'clock tour and I had no sun.
No sun? No, because you can see, no, when we say no sun, we mean no direct sunlight. You can see there's no light on the ground.
Yep.
So we can't see the sun either.
But I had sun with Viking cruises at 2 o'clock, so I'm guessing about 1 o'clock.
Yeah. But we will get light in the winter. It's basically like you see there, big line on the mountains. You see. But that's why we lose the sun. You see over in the distance there, that mountain, the sun starts to go underneath, but right now it's going this way. So it sets over there, but just earlier. But in about a month, maybe a month and a half, it'll go like that. It'll start doing that, and then we just don't get any direct light. Let's see. Where do you want to sit today, Karl? Alexandra's here. Over here? The pit? The fire pit? Or do you want to sit by the... they're going to be grilling today again.
Yeah.
We lost Robert and Tim,
Yeah.
but we gained a few others. These two houses are now being occupied by other Vikings. And Alexandra is here. And Marlies is here. We have some teenage Vikings here. One of them is having a birthday this weekend.
I'm too busy with cat diplomacy these days to pay attention to your Freeman woman.
Okay, for those who don't know about the cat diplomacy, mention quick background as to why we're having a cat diplomacy, and then you can update us on how it's going. Don't! It's too soon, says Robert. Oh no, we put new Viking in there. I'm so sorry. If it makes you feel better, he's actually a hotel owner. But for another small village, slightly bigger than this one. So he should take good care of it. I mean, if the guy's got to have hotel rooms for a living, he should know how to keep the rooms clean. Don't you think?
You would think so.
Yeah. I see they've been decorating down by the blacksmith there. Look what they did to Eric's shield. I'll have to zoom in on that. We can sit in the far end here so we get out of people's way. Or we could sit over there. We could sit over there. Now, I guess when I say it smells like winter, it's because like your nostrils start freezing. There you go. Look what he did to the shield there. I kind of like that. His shield is starting to fall apart. I'll sit on this side so I can have you can sit across from me. Then you have this nice, beautiful view of the sea house, or the boathouse as we call it, the blacksmith, and the kayak center that still hasn't put grass on their roof completely. I think they put it up once and then they screwed it up and it started to slide off because they didn't put any breakers on it or something to keep it in place. And then since then they just kind of gave up. Let's see. But as long as you can't see it from the fjord and you can only see it from the Viking village, it's like a private battle, you would think. Yeah, still ... says Albert. What's in the box, Karl, says Peruta.
Glasses.
Glasses. We have to keep him
Or
in
lamps. Who the fuck knows? I've still
Or-
not Googled that.
Did you finish explaining the cat diplomacy?
No, I didn't even start to explain the cat diplomacy because you went off on 2 other tangents immediately.
What a bitch. Okay, tell us about the cat diplomacy while you find yourself a nice beer.
Well, as you know from when we send in the winter, we've had the 2 cats for a long time, Karin's cats.
Yeah?
They are mixed breed, some Norwegian forest cat, Felis domesticus, don't know what.
He's a mutt,
Yeah.
a feline mutt.
And they get along with each other pretty well. They're not like exactly best buddies, but they don't really make a lot of... there aren't any major issues either. But then we also inherited my father's cat. These, your cats are what, 10 years old?
Yeah, they will be 11 in May, so 10 and a half.
Yeah. And we inherited my father's 6-year-old Siamese. Siamese!
Siamese, like mayonnaise? Or...
Yes. And we are now trying to basically get them to get along because they are now brothers and sisters, whether they want to or not. And it kind of works and it kind of doesn't.
Yesterday was not sounding successful, but until then it was pretty good.
Yesterday, well, today,
Last night, this
today I
morning.
would say, because it was like 6 a.m. We woke up because one of her cats had kind of cornered the Siamese under a table. And the Siamese could have walked away because he's not really trying to hurt her. But she didn't want to, so she used her voice, which is pretty annoying.
How does that go? How does that voice sound? Now, is it like that the whole time, or does it vary? Sometimes I hear another noise, like a hissing sound.
That's when she catches her breath.
And how does that sound? I did hear some actual hissing, though.
Yeah. Now, there are some small victories and some small setbacks.
Yeah.
Fuzzy is a wuss. So he has basically just given up having any control over anything. So both Silly and Karl, that's the name of the Siamese cat, is now kind of bullying him. And they're bullying him without actually trying, because as soon as one of them comes, he just walks away.
Yeah.
But Karl accidentally kind of cornered him on a window shelf. And she doesn't go away. She just goes closer and closer and closer and closer until Fuzzy just can't handle it anymore. So he has a short drum solo on her head, and then she just blinks at him twice and slowly turns around and walks away. So the cat diplomacy is kind of working because we have never had a moment where 2 cats want to fight at the same time.
No full on, no.
We occasionally have one cat who wants to pick a fight, but the other cat is basically going, nope, not today, Satan, and then they walk away.
What I consider to be the biggest success, though, is that all 3 cats are eating out of the same food box
Yeah.
and pooping in the same potty.
Yes, but wet food, if you can't have wet food,
Oh, that's funny.
You don't care about diplomatic
If you want to
niceties.
find out which one is alpha or the pegging order of the cats, how do we do this, Karl?
Well, we kind of do it inadvertently every time we serve them wet food, because one bowl has to be filled before the others.
Yeah.
And that is automatically Silly's bowl, no matter where this bowl is.
No, but I put out 3 bowls. I put 3 bowls out. And what happens?
Well, what happens is Silly immediately comes and starts eating. Then Karla goes as far away from Silly as she possibly can and starts eating. Then Fuzzy very slowly goes up to Silly and tries to eat until Silly shoulders him away to eat his food too.
While standing over his own food.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, when Fuzzy goes away?
Fuzzy and Karla actually did eat from the same bowl for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was cute.
Which was cute, and it shows that there are no hard feelings really.
But as soon as he pushed Fuzzy away to steal his food, he immediately goes over to Karla. He abandons the 2 food bowls and goes straight to Karla's. It's like, hello, my name is Godzilla, and I will be your alpha. And I may be gaining a little weight, but that's my food now.
Yeah, no, we have to. When wet food is involved, he would happily vacuum all of it if we didn't keep a little bit of control on it.
Because we don't usually, wet food is a treat. Those little packages of wet food, it's a treat. But all right, and then yeah.
Fussy and Karl, number 2 and 3 on the pecking order, have the same hobbies. Both of them absolutely love to annoy me when I'm trying to use a computer or a cell phone. And both of them absolutely wants to be on my lap when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
So they kind of have this weird ceasefire thing as soon as I go to bed.
Yeah.
Then both Fussy and Karl will sleep kind of on my chest, so I can pet Fussy up here and Karl down there.
Karl's been taking cat bed selfies like all week. I should be a little jealous about the amount of pussies he has in his bed.
But it only works for a while. Because both cats are gone as soon as I fall asleep. They just run off in random directions because they really don't like the idea of lying there and staring at each other.
No. But I go to bed about an hour after you, and then Carla decides she doesn't want to be in the bed anymore, so she gets, because I'm in there now and it's no good. I take more space apparently. And then so she goes away, but I think it was not this morning, but yesterday morning. I have this thing where I don't know, premenopause, whatever you want to call it, but you can just start sweating in the morning. So you have to like rip off the blanket and stick a leg out to try to cool off a little bit, and then I have to, of course, stretch while I do this as well. And I managed to kick a cat, what I was not expecting, and this cat had a lot less hair and body mass than the other two.
Yep.
So I was surprised though, because I mean, I kicked the cat. That's not good. Don't kick the cat. But I was happy to see that she was still there in the morning.
Yeah.
So.
No, she's used to clumsy people. She doesn't take that as an insult.
Oh, okay, that's good, because I was not very graceful. But I did cool off quite quickly, so that was good. Okay, why is the Siamese, you got to go quick on this one because you've told us so many times before, some people have already heard it a million times, but why is the cat named Karla?
Because I reversed cat smuggled her from Switzerland.
Yeah.
Back in 2019.
The reverse cat smuggling. That's another story I think we've told probably about 5 times on here, and you can never get enough, but let's see, because we have someone driving us home earlier today, so we shouldn't go too much overtime, so. Okay, gonna catch up on chat. Let's see, Albert is here. He's not feeling very great. No, get better. Susan Youngman's here, back in the Adirondacks, but it's raining. No outside Nalbinding. I'm Nalbinding outside today. Let's see, Lindsay said she's here as also, it says it's 67 Fahrenheit in Dallas. Oh wow, downright chilly. That's like summer in Norway. 67, it's probably what, like...
I don't know what the Fahrenheit is. I kind of know what it is, but I can't say...
Somewhere between 50 and 20. Not 20, but it's, yeah.
Somewhere between 50 and 20
15, right? 15. Well, because I can't remember what 70 was, but 70 is like average summerage temperature, at least in Duluth, before I moved like 30 years ago when climate change was a new thing that we thought just hippies talked about. But it turns out, anyway. 23 in Holland where Garcia's at. Robert's back in Glasgow. It's 20 degrees and overcast. They're still a little bit warmer than us. I don't know what we are. I would assume we're about 18 or, it was cold this morning though. Not cold, but sweater weather with a little bit of a chill. Max is here. Annette says, stunning evening there. There's 2 Annettes. Annette, Tunda Hayulani, I like that one. I'm saying, I totally butchered that, I'm sure. And then there's Annette Goes Adventures. And Osman is here. Hey, Osman. I have to wave. He's sending me some sewing needles to try, historical sewing needles. I'm really excited about that. Lyra is here all the way in Kansas. It's sunny and cool there. Winter looks like it'll be here soon, too. Tim is actually an acquaintance of mine, says Annette with the Atun Dahadu Lani. I am going to look that up when I get home. I like that. Well, there you go. And he's gracing the front. Heidi Liset is here from Norway. Prud is here in Poland. Let's see. Lindsay had me muted and she wondered why I hadn't heard you start. Clutch the pearls. I have so much nice things to say. Your father's very expensive cat that got smuggled into Norway, says Peruta. Yes, that is the absolute cat. Annetta says, we are Siamese, if you please. We are Siamese, if you don't please. I sing this to Karl constantly. It drives him up the wall. And then I even played the Disney one for you. So if you don't know the movie, it's called Aristocats.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, no, that cat totally fits the bill of the two cats on that movie. I just want to say that little tail it's like an appendage of itself. It can just knock things over. It's like a snake. Yes, Siamese are definitely vocal, said Lindsay. They liked the way that you imitated being a cat. Yeah. Prudis says, I've heard it referred to as skibbity pops. Ah, that's an interesting way of doing it. Lindsay says, ideal is 1 litter box per cat, second best is 2. Yeah, but we don't have them spread around the house. If we had the whole house exposed to the cats, then I would probably have a few more litter boxes out.
Yeah.
But we do have to change that sucker almost every day.
But we only need 1 more to have 1 per cat.
Yeah, we actually do have 2 litter boxes, but we're trying to phase them out and go to the sawdust one.
But I think it would be hard for them to learn that this is my litter box and nobody else is allowed to use it, because most notably Silly will go to the cleanest source of litter he can find. So if somebody else hasn't pooped, then that is Silly's litter box, pretty much by definition.
Yeah. But yeah, the one bonus thing out of it is it seems to be 2.5 out of 3 cats are now using the the sawdust box, which is, we had almost given up on that, but it is more eco-friendly and it is more, it's actually cheaper. That stuff lasts forever.
The only one of the cats who has never been referred to as the annoying one is the one who really doesn't understand how toilets work.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we have to there can't be any trace of poop in there. If there's any poop in the box whatsoever, then one of them will immediately poop on the floor next to it and scoff at us. But so far, they all seem to be doing number 1 in the box, so that's very good. Let's see. Yes, he did inherit them, in all sense of the word. Lindsay says, no, that's Lady and the Tramp. Oh, God, you're right. Lady and the Tramp, because they get like, there's a dog in Lady and the Tramp. And the dog gets kind of kicked out and then meets the lady is a girl dog and meets a trampy cat, but got kicked out because the Siamese cats.
Tramp is a dog.
Tramp is, oh no, that's Tramp. What the hell am I thinking of? The pretty lady dog is something else. No, okay, the dog is the Tramp. They eat spaghetti.
Yes, you are thinking of some
Lady and the Tramp is 2 dogs. No,
newfangled Disney interracial marriage thing. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
No, but there's this pretty little cat, and I mean a dog, and I think the dog's name is Purdy. I forget. I was mixing Lady and the Tramp with, anyway.
No, but I also thought it was in the Aristocats, because you kind of would expect them to be there.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, she's right. It's in,
no, it is. It's in Lady and the Tramp, which is the one about the 2 dogs. The dog, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because Lady's the dog that got kicked out of the house. I can get this right. Got kicked out of the house because the Siamese totally made a mess and made it look like the kitty, or the dog did it, the lady dog, and then she meets a tramp dog, and then they share spaghetti, and it's all Italian from there. I can do this. It's Ava Gabor recorded twice. I didn't know that. Okay, I got my stuff started. Asma says, hi, Karin and Karl. Beautiful weather and beautiful place. Beautiful people. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Audra's here. She's from Yellowstone Viking Market, by the way, and it looks like they're having nice weather as well over outside of Oslo and Lillestrøm. Warm and nice here, and I'm waiting for the Gilda. Yeah, we're going to have a little mini Gilda here. But okay, Karl, you need to get started on a beer. Oh, the Siamese cat that Lyra has is named Vladimir, if that tells you anything about yours. About him, I mean the cat. Oh yeah, no, that definitely, I think Vladimir is a very fitting name for a Siamese male cat. Vladimir and Karla. Okay, you're going to try Egger Brewery beer. Let me turn this one over. This is the ones we're carrying in the store now. We've gone over to Egger Brewery because they're right in our next neighbor of Flom. However, we cannot get the bottle ones and we can't get most of the can ones.
And we certainly can't get this one because it's too strong.
Exactly. What percentage is that one?
10.
It says barrel-aged imported porter. But I like the Viking logos on these. That's one of the reasons why we also wanted to, is they have a very, it's one of those things where if you have a can or whatever, you buy the can, drink the beer, but you keep the can. kind of a thing.
Can't really give a
They're really good
completely.
designs.
I can't really give a completely objective review of Agerbear because
now we're selling it.
because
yeah.
we are actually selling it. But to put it like that, I have no problem with selling this particular product in the shop.
No, they're really good actually. Even the non-alcoholic one is good. We've heard that got good. Actually, got no, we did actually. You don't, but others did. It's been selling like mad. We've had to stock it like 4 times faster.
The people who drink the non-alcoholic beer are so mentally unstable that nothing they say can be taken for granted.
On behalf of Karl, I just want to say he does not share the views of everybody else in the Viking Valley village. He is an ass.
Okay. And I'm also pretty sure we are not selling non-alcoholic beer.
We are selling non-alcoholic beer. There's a new one called Velheim. I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. Skogskat. Yeah, that's what I think. The Norwegian forest cat is a Skogskat, I think. And one of ours is very similar to that.
Yeah, Fuzzy has the traits of a small one.
Yeah, because Fuzzy and Zilly are actually brothers from the same batch.
Yeah.
But they look, one has short hair, one has long hair. They look very different. The only thing similar about them is the spots.
But they are not any kind of cat breed. They are like what you call street mix.
Yeah. It's one of those unknown father situations.
I'm almost convinced this is going to be good.
Lynchburg Nut. Barrel-aged Imperial Porter lagrer månedsvis på fat som kommer rett fra whiskyproduksjon i Lynchburg, Tennessee. What does it mean? Imperial Porter that was made or brewed stored for months on a plate. What would fat be in this situation?
Barrel.
On a barrel, okay. That came directly from the whiskey production in Lynchburg, Tennessee. Ølet har et utsøkt preg av eik og amerikansk whisky i smakfull samsel med toner av kaffe, vanilje og lakris. The beer has an unsearched presence, I don't know if I said that right, of oak and American whiskey in a tasteful play with tones from coffee and vanilla and licorice. Lynchburg Nat er et forførende fyldig og fløyelsmjukt big. I cannot do your nynorsk. Forførende fyldig og fløyelsmjukt brygg. Okay, what is that? Lynchburg Nat is
seductively full.
It's such a wonderful words.
Seductively full and
fløyelsmjukt brygg.
Velvet soft
Brew. Ja, god egnet selskap for sjokoladedesserter eller en klassisk crème brûlée. It would be it would pair really well with chocolate desserts or the classic crème brûlée.
Yeah. And it's an Imperial Porter. It's very, very hard to fuck up this kind of beer. But I have generally been very nice to the Americans. I insult most other countries, but here's a little bit of an insult for you. And you deserve it. American whiskey.
Yeah.
That the Scottish don't sue the bejesus out of you for calling that swill whiskey is a wonder in itself.
Karl does not represent the Viking Valley in their opinion.
I represent everybody who has ever tasted Jack Daniels and compare it to a Scottish one.
Jack Daniels is something we drink with Coke
double dare you.
In university.
If
it is
anybody,
not no, he does not.
If anybody actually prefers Jack Daniels over, fuck me, any Scottish whiskey, I'm pretty sure they would drink horse piss.
Robert? He says he's right, though. There you go. Scotland agrees.
Of course they do.
American beer is like sex in a boat, fucking close to water. My ex-husband actually had that printed on his graduation cards.
There is some really good American beer, but the ones that buy in large quanta are not good.
No, but usually those are the kind of things that are meant for tailgate parties or university parties or just hanging. I don't know. That's not the kind. Microbrewery around the 90s. I think it was microbreweries and things like that started to keep up because people actually wanted to be able to drink the beer and to enjoy it, not just swill it and get the quickest hangover they could. But yeah,
No,
no, there's a difference between those. I would say the microbreweries, etc. All those are meant to be enjoyed, whereas the other ones are just drink for drink.
Yeah, but even then you can do better.
Karl is secretly a proud American, believes in freedom of speech. First Amendment of the Constitution, says Roger. The American.
I have no problem with the Second Amendment either, Roger.
Karl does not speak on behalf of all of Viking Valley. I need to get like this disclaimer. No, we are after hours, by the way. We are not open, and this is why we don't send in Viking Valley's name. Annette says, I'm not a big fan of beer, but if I drink it like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or Blue Moon, but if I do drink it, I like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I forgot about that one. I used to drink that one in college. Or Blue Moon, I don't think I've tried that one. Jack is the blending thing more than anything else. It's horrible alone, says Albert. I kind of agree with him there. Yeah, no, Jack Daniels, that's a college party type of drink. You mix it with, well, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't care about graduating.
Pretty much. I didn't graduate from college, but I did attend to some years, and then I took some extra classes, and look where it got me now, in a Viking village.
No, it's... have I told you the Åsle story?
A long time ago, but yeah, you can tell it again. I think it's been a winter. And then I got to bring out my needle binding.
Åsle is a Greek anise tasting strong liquor.
Anis, A-N-I-S, yeah.
And the thing with it is that you can't really mix it with anything except water without it tasting extremely bad. I didn't know this. So I tried to mix it with literally everything. And every time I make a drink, I go, oh, this tastes bad. I just have to drink it quickly and make a new one and see if I find something that works. And I did that very quickly through a whole bottle of Åsle. And I'm so spectacularly drunk. One of the last things I remember from this evening is me walking along the road and stopping to pee. And I'm not peeing between the light poles. I'm peeing right under a light pole, and I'm peeing into the road, which is exactly how you shouldn't be doing this. Then I wake up the next morning, and I have a concert ticket in my pocket, and I have a splitting headache, and I have no memory since I was peeing under the light pole. Then my father calls. Did you get drunk last night? No, I was out drinking, but I don't think I got that drunk.
Just then you sounded like the cat.
And then he has this dry comment. That doesn't really fit with my notes. Because I got a phone call in the middle of the night from some girls in Sogndal asking me if I had a very skinny son. Because then they had found me sleeping outside some kind of flower shop. They took up my phone and found the number saved as father. I called him and goes, okay, where does your son live? We can't really talk to him right now because he is incoherent. Then they put me in a taxi, got me back home, somehow got me into bed. And yeah.
By the way, Roger says, Karin speaks Norsk, but I hear the Swedish chef from Sesame Street, and then you take the meatball and you put it in the soup. That would be...
There is a little bit of Swedish.
I learned Swedish from Sesame Street.
There is a little bit of Swedish in the way Karin speaks Norwegian, but it's less than 1%. You have to be pretty good to be able to pick it up.
There was one guy, I think it was the UPS driver or something, dropped something off anyway, and he's like, I'm sorry, I just have to ask. He said, you're not from Norway, are you? And he said, but I can't quite place where you're from. Are you American, or are you Swedish, or are you Danish, or? And I said, no, actually, but I get that. The Danish, sometimes my Norwegian will sound so, I don't know, because the American accent and the fact that I speak it too quickly, sometimes it can come off with a little bit of Danish. So I get that sometimes, but mostly they will pick out that it's American. But the ones that pick out the Swedish, that's kind of fun, because I learned Swedish for 3 years before I learned Norwegian.
It's kind of funny because every time she talks to a Swedish person,
then it's Norglish.
She can speak pretty good Swedish, and she turns to Swedish immediately. But the problem is that it takes about a day or two for the Swedish to completely leave her Norwegian.
Yeah.
So there will be a little bit of Swedish-isms in her Norwegian for about a day after every time she speaks to a Swedish person.
Yeah, my friend Joachim called.
So on behalf of all of Norway, Swedish people use English. Because I really don't like it when my girlfriend speaks recognizable Swedish.
So, my friend Joachim calls from Boring Burros. Why do I call it Boring Burros? Oh, I shouldn't have scratched my head. Anyway, Boring Burros, because that's what the Swedes call it. They said, yeah, but why do you go to Borås? There's nothing going on in Borås. No, because that's where the people I know come from. But Joachim was an exchange student in my high school in my 11th grade year. We became good friends. And then there was a couple others too that we all hung out together. It turns out to be that the sister, his host sister in the family that he was staying with, she ended up dating my brother and marrying my brother. So it was kind of funny. We were all kind of hanging out together. My older brother is like 12 months and 6 days older than me. So kind of Catholic twins going on there. Protection. They didn't think they could get pregnant within 4 months after birth, but you know, you can. So here I am. But anyway, so we're all in the same age because also that girl is about 1 month older than me. Anyway.
That's the point of order. Are you
the
filming
point is
yourself,
getting there. Yeah, I'm filming myself. No, I'm filming myself right now. Oh yeah, because you're gonna contraband. So anyway, it's gonna be like fog coming here soon. No, but anyways, we all used to hang out together. But the funny thing is, at some point, it got to be that my brother and her name was Monica. They would be at my house, and we would be over at their house. Joachim and I would be playing games, video games like baseball on Atari and ColecoVision, and it's getting a little old. Or it would be the other way around. We'd be over at my house, and my brother and Monica would be over there. Anyway, so. Long story short, became really good friends anyway, and 4 years later I would go and over the ocean for the first time by myself. 1994 this was, to Borås, where Joachim lived, and see Sweden, stay there for a month, and then that ended up coming to be, I think, the next 4 years in a row I went back and forth, at least once a year. And on one of these side trips, actually I was trying to learn Swedish because looking for a job there and everything, absolutely loved the country, thought it was great. It looks a lot like northern Minnesota, to be honest. So not this mountainous, but definitely not flat. Anyhow.
Sweden is a flat forested country full of Swedes.
I'm not turning the camera on you, you moron. Anyway. But yeah, and then because I was trying to learn Swedish, and the idea of internet at the time was pretty much chat forums and nothing but text rolling up, I found a game where there was based mostly out of Sweden. It was a MUD, multi-user dungeon. This is one of the ways I know Roger from Huntington Beach there. And hey guys. But I was able to play the game, and there was about half the people on that. It was a game based out of Norway, but half of them came from Sweden. So I had a lot of help with learning Swedish on there. But then we decided to have a big meet and greet in Oslo, and then later in Trondheim. So my friends, some of my friends from Sweden, and I came over to Oslo for a day or two to go and visit them, and thought if they're weird, we'll just ditch. But if they're not, it could be kind of fun. And they were actually quite fun, except for my little run-in with Hell's Angels. But other than that, it was quite fun. And one of the guys that I met there, who I thought was a little mama's boy, annoying guy on the internet, turned out to be not so much like you would expect they were in real life. And that's the one I ended up marrying. And then all my friends in Sweden were like, men Karin då.
I should send him a thank you letter for that, by the way.
Yeah, you should send him a thank you letter. The thing with the Hells Angels, this was actually kind of funny. I don't know if I've ever told this one on YouTube. So there's about 20 of us, and we're all computer geeks looking extremely nerdy. I don't think there was a pair among us that didn't have glasses on them and everything. And, you know, no pocket protectors, though. We just definitely had computer stuff. But then we go to this bar, and we're sitting there enjoying a beer. And I might have had a few too many. I used to drink Guinness at the time, so that kind of hits a little quickly. And some guy comes to the back of the bar and said, I heard there's an American back here. Where's the American? I'm like, I'm the American! And he's looking at me, and he's like, I don't know what the hell he asked me anyway, but it said something like, yeah, you should come home with me. And I'm like, nope, That's not in the book. And then he goes off and leaves. And then my friends were like, Karin, you need to drink your beer. We got to go now. But I just ordered it. I'm having a good time. They're like, Karin, we got to go now. Slam, not a good idea. And then we go out the door. I think I was 24, 23 at the time. Turns out that was the leader of the Hells Angels, and he's now in a Chicago prison. So yeah, that was about right. 1994 to 2025. We've been friends for 31 years. Whoa, says Roger. Exactly. That was around the same time too that I'd go to California and meet Roger too.
That said, your relationship with the Hells Angels has improved drastically since then.
Yeah. My former boss is well, he wasn't in Hells Angels at the time, but he's in Hells Angels now. But he's a nice Hells Angels guy. We only run into him at the grocery store, but he's not bombing places and in a prison in Chicago.
Well, if he is bombing places, he is smart enough not to be in a prison in Chicago.
Yeah, but imagine the balls of the drunken person going, I'm the American!
Well, I have to say, Karin, sometimes bravery and stupidity are hard to distinguish.
You're pretty proud of yourself, aren't you? Anyway, so that's the reason why sometimes my Norwegian sounds Swedish. Okay, we have to needle bind because, you know, it's been a while. So it's a new month. The color of the month is brown, so I'm using orange. No, actually, I do have a brown project. I have to make some leg wrappings for somebody. We don't have leg wrappings in the store. So one of the things we're doing is, is take a strip of fabric and then I'm just sewing in the ends a little bit. You can't see it. It's not meant to be very visible. And we'll use those as leg wraps for now because winter is coming and legs are cold. But yeah, no, we do need some hand woven leg wraps. It's been about 3 years since those were represented in the store. But notice it's a brown leg wrap. So brown, by the way, that's my historical needle. Ah, Osman's here. We're going to get him to make some needles for us. This is one. This is in copper. And then you sent them already. They should be here on the 15th, I think, and then we'll be testing them. And my little needle holder here. This is made from a pig's ear, by the way, people ask. In Norway, you can find a dog chew that's basically a dried up pig's ear. But you can also soak the pig's ear in water and stretch it, and you can make things like this. This is just wool in it. But I wish we had these in the store. I've been asking the guy to make some of these, but
and that's how we used.
Because he lives just over there.
We used to buy dog bones that was made out of rawhide. Put them in water for a few hours, and then they are soft enough to work, and then you use them for lining on shields and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But now we can buy them on the roads from somebody. I don't know where they come from, but I see we have them in storage here.
Oh, really? Okay. Then, yeah, maybe. Well, it'll be good to have to see what to do with it anyway. But this would be, yeah, the leather. I don't know what the hell we were. Oh, that's because we were just to go on the outside of the shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Around the edge of the shield, so they don't get destroyed so quickly, like Eirik's. Oops, wrong way. We'll find it. There it is. So they don't get destroyed so quickly like that. The bottom of his shield is kind of shredded. But if he had rawhide around it, it would be able to take a bit more damage.
Historically, they occasionally used metal for that. But we can't do that because if you get enough hits on it, it gets like
turns
saw
into a weapon.
blades. So your shield ends up being very dangerous for your opponent, which they would consider a benefit in the Viking Age, and it's a disadvantage nowadays.
Yeah. Because
we have to kind of reuse our opponents.
They just don't get enough volunteers to use the real ones. Isn't that what you say on your tour?
To use sharp ones, yes.
Yeah, to use the sharp ones, sorry. These are
so
the other two.
if we get enough volunteers, I'll start fighting with this.
Don't you know all Viking reenactors are supposed to have a sword in every shot? You need to hold on to that all the time where everyone can see it.
This is the actual sharp one.
Yeah, that's a nice sword. What is that? What kind of sword is it? Is it Godfrey? No.
No. Typology, I'm not entirely sure. It's a replica of one that was found in Dublin.
Yeah.
So it has some kind of Anglo-Saxon traits, like the forward curved crossguard.
Yeah.
tactically, it doesn't really matter if your crossguard is straight or forward curved, as long as it's long enough to protect your hand. The only one advantage I see with the slight forward curve is that you can theoretically catch your opponent's blade in the nook. So if his blade gets down here, I can just kind of turn it so that his sword is locked. But I can't really use my sword either, so unless I'm very good at punching faces, it's kind of useless.
Curtis says, when I lived in Japan, I had a dear friend who was a full-on Yakuza. He has the tattoos and the missing fingers and everything. So what kind of weapon would he have been using, Karl?
Well, to cut off his finger, I would have used a tanto.
Okay.
But aside from that, Yakuza are kind of modern when it comes to what violence they do very modernly,
Yeah.
to put it like that.
Um,
It's only in the movies they would actually attack you with the katana. They would just
okay.
come up behind you and shoot you right behind the ear.
Yeah.
That's standard operating procedure. But the finger thing indicates that he is not the best Yakuza in the world, because that's apparently something you do if you disappoint your boss. You cut off this bit of your finger, and if you can do it without crying and then just wrap it in silk and give it to him, then you're forgiven, hopefully.
Audra says, in reference back to the leg warming thing, the leg wrappings, she says, or you buy strumper, which is long-legged stockings. And then Robert said, well, I was in the village. It was the first time I used vinnegas, which is another word for leg wrappings. And I have to say, I've come to really like them. And how could they lose an arrow as a shield without me? How could they lose arrows at a shield without me, says Robert. We miss him. How are you getting, you've spent like 1 day back since he left? Because we had 2 days off and then.
Yeah.
How are you surviving without Robert?
No, I have to instruct the tourists again. I miss him.
Okay, and then Annette asked, because I was like showing needle binding for a second, they all got excited, and then I put it away and started talking about something else. Just to say, I'm working on brown. Color of the month is brown. Annette says, that's a really pretty needle binding needle. Do you not find that it gets caught in the end? Thinking of the carved end. Yes, because it's not a needle binding needle, actually. This one is, oh, I was going to show these, by the way, before I'm done. Yeah, the needle binding needles. This one is copper, this one is brass, and this one is iron. But you can see the hand forged. If I hold it up like that, I got paint all over my fingernails. But so yes, these Osman's going to try to make us some of these because these are pretty hard to get a hold of. I was not aware of how few people are actually making these. So the iron one is almost like a knife though, so I don't think I would ever sew with it. But if I wanted to work leather, that thing would be great. But it's hard to get the eye hole where it, or the eye of the needle where it doesn't flare out too much. So, but it's nice. So anyway, there's my historical needles. Now I can put that away and show the needle binding. So the needle that you were looking at is not a needle binding needle. This is probably a bodkin. But smartass over here is decided to do Åsle stitch this month. Åsle, A with a circle over it, S-L-E, not to be confused with Oslo.
Yeah, because this is not confusing at all. And I'm also guessing it's in the Russian family?
Swedish. I saw the Oslo mitten. It was in Fåberg Museum, but it's from Sweden.
Yeah, no, I get it. But is there a Swedish family of needle binding?
Yeah. Well, Finnish. It's in the Finnish family.
Okay, Swedish is Finnish.
Yeah, no, Finnish has nothing to do with the location when it comes to stitch family. It's just the way they make the stitch.
Get it, which makes it confusing.
But our
for normal
boga,
people.
I mean, Åsle is a bit. I think it's just called a turning stitch, because it does kind of twist a bit like Russian stitches, which has nothing to do with Russia. It's just based on the finds. Okay, and the way of making it. But yeah, no, this is probably a bodkin because yeah, this I think would be okay if you have a carved needle, and you can push the yarn through this way, it's okay. But if you were going to push the yarn through this way, it would definitely get caught. So if as long as it doesn't go like carving the other way. So if you were going to make a heart, some people thought it would be really cool to kind of make a heart at the end here. But if the point, the apex of that heart, or the point of that heart is here, it will cut your yarn every time you try to pull through. But if you had an upside down heart, then it'd be fine because the yarn doesn't go this way in the needle, it only goes this way in the needle. But same thing when you're pulling it through your work. If it can pull through this way, it's fine. But if the carving is done in such a way where it goes the other way, then it would be kind of a pain in the ass. But no, and this also doesn't have a very good tip for needle binding. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. It wants to focus on my hand, but it's very flat. There, if I just hold it like that, you can see it maybe a bit better. I don't know, the focus on this thing sucks. Anyway, but I needed something that was thin. Normally I would use my weaving needle, which is basically a long version of this one, but I couldn't find it. So, and then I thought I had my long skinny bone needle here at work, but I didn't. I have it at home, so then I wasn't prepared and I had to find something in the shop. But all of our needles are not this thin, so anyway, but you'll see why I wanted to use a thin needle. Okay, so this one's gonna come, this is not gonna be easy at first, but actually if you think about it compared to other stitches that we've done, it does have something in common. Like dollarna stitch. Dollarna stitch, you take the second loop and you go like this, under the thumb loop, and then under that. Now imagine you're doing that with, you got first loop, second loop, third loop. So imagine if you're doing dollarna with just the back two loops. So you'd pick up the third loop this way because it just happens to be turned that way. So from right to left, and then you go and you pick up the thumb loop, or the second loop like that, just like dollarna, and then you go under the thumb loop and the leader thread just like all the other finished stitches. So that's Åsle. Sometimes they will take the fourth and the third and then do the dollarna type thing through the second loop like that. But for this one, I'm just doing this one. But this is a pretty thin yarn, as you can see, but it is a very nice, dense fabric. This is the wrong side, and this is the right side. It has almost like a straw thing. There's a picture floating around on Pinterest. It's one of my favorite ones. I think I put it in the needle binding group so well. It's like this red cowl, and the way it's laying flat, it almost looks like, the texture of it just makes it kind of look almost velvety. But that's this, it's done in this stitch, and that took forever to do, and that's why it's the only one. But if you want to make really warm mittens, this is the stitch to go with. It's nice and thin, but because you're running that string is crossing itself so much, it makes a nice and dense fabric. You can't see through this one if I hold it up to the light. Let's see. You can barely see through it. And this, where it is showing it all, is where the increases are. See those little V's? That's an increase. But otherwise, you can pretty much not see through it as well at all. Now imagine if you felted this sucker. Okay, so anyway, now that we got the back of the stitch figured out, because you would make a chain like that, the way your, let's see, there it goes. The way the loops fall from doing the stitch, your third and fourth loop are going to be facing like the bunny ears. You're going to want to use, Raymond, the bunny ears on the left, the left bunny ear. That's your third loop. So you would have the bunny ear on the left, and then you would pick up the second loop on your thumb just like you would like a dollarna, and then you go underneath this thumb loop. Okay, so that's Åsle, but to connect it is a little tricky. Remember we were doing M1, and M1 in this case is not this one here, it's this one. This is the middle one, and this is the top one. It's the rows. It's kind of hard to see the row on that, but that's one row. So this is my middle one, but we're not going to take it this way. We're going to take it this way, so it's kind of like right to left. And then F1, which is this one, which you normally would take. Sometimes I have to double check, but no, this one has gone through, so it's that one.
Do you have any German viewers today?
Yeah, Karsten and Doro probably, if any.
Because I have a question I would like to ask.
All right, we were just focused, but okay. Go ahead, Karl.
I got a kind of confusing compliment from an American tourist today. He said that after the guided tour, he said, "Oh, this is absolutely amazing. You and the German night watch guy have to be the best guides in Europe."
We looked that up.
So apparently there is a thing in Germany where they have people pretending to be old medieval night watch
Walking around with a
people
lantern
that
through the
are
old
walking
parts of
around
town. Yeah.
with a lantern and guiding people. And apparently one of them is really good.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an idea here?
The
Has
reason
anybody
why,
had a really good experience with the German night watch guiding?
and the reason why you want to know is because, and this could be Brussels and Dusseldorf, there's plenty of different places that have it anyway, but the reason you want to know is because he said you and that guy are the best guides he's ever seen, and you were like, game on, bitch. I'm going to take Germany down.
Not exactly.
No.
It's, I've seen some good guides. There are some people that are really, really good at their craft. I am good because I have written a very good guiding.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of...
No, you're extremely entertaining and engaging.
I'm also decent to very good when it comes to answering questions, but that's because...
And you also have a really interesting use of the English language.
That's because I've done the guided tour so many times that
Yeah.
there are very few new questions under the sun. But I've seen guides that kind of, at the drop of a hat, can be entertaining about something they have never talked about before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an impressive skill. But I don't know what kind of guy this German night watch guy is.
No, but we are so going to be checking
But,
out YouTube.
I would love to know more about it if there is somebody who kind of...
Yeah. That doesn't mean it's all watchmen either, but one particular watchman, the one that he had.
Yeah, the one that he had.
And so that's what I mean. It could be in Brussels, it could be in Dusseldorf. They listed at least 6 different cities that have
And
this in
also, this was a pretty old American. And when somebody is that cocksure, when they say something like
That's
best guide in
cocksure.
Europe, I'm expecting that he has had more than 2 guides in Europe. Because if he just had me and the German night watch guy, then it's not that impressive.
No. Okay, so we got some homework to do. Somebody find a German that's better than Karl.
That sounds like a challenge.
It is.
In some circumstances, I will willingly accept that there are Germans that are better than me.
Yeah.
When it comes to just raw historical knowledge, Holger has me beat.
Yeah.
I told my boss that if I say something about the Viking Age, you should take it as gospel unless Holger is standing behind me and shaking his head.
Yeah.
Because if me and Holger disagree about something, go with Holger. That's a pretty good rule.
Yeah, that's the one guy you will bend to, I think, in this village when it comes to knowledge.
Yeah, I won't bend to him, I will still double check him. But the odds are, if me and Holger has a confrontation about anything historical,
Yeah.
most likely when I double check it, I will find out that he is right.
Yeah.
Because he is extremely knowledgeable.
Oh, he's like posting links to
just-
something every 5 seconds. Between the two of you, you both actually research Viking stuff for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has me beat with a few years and an actual relevant education.
Meanwhile, that means Karl needs to be stumped. So if you have a Viking question, throw it in there, and we'll
Yeah.
see what he says. All right, back to Åsle while they think. It's my time. Drink your beer.
Find the German.
Shut up. This is a complicated stitch, and I'm using a
Need to
bodkin.
recruit him.
By the way, Robert says, oh, shucks. And Vilborg said, hi, Talala. Hi, Vilborg. Lindsay says, laugh out loud. No, LOL. Teaching biotechnology labs. Watching people come up with new and creative ways to completely misunderstand instructions. This would be one of them. No. Okay, so anyway. M1. So this is my middle one, the one that's standing. So I take the middle one, and then I take my F1, which is the ones I normally do, one from the front. F1 is one from the front. This one will confuse me every now and then. That is not, I've already done that one, so I can't use that one. And this side one gets caught in there sometimes too, but you kind of have to take it back. Take a look and see, is it a top one, or is it that one? Okay, and then the bottom one. So pick up the bottom one from basically right to left. It'd be awkward as hell to do it that way. And then turn and go straight up through F1. So that is your M1 F1 connection. Then you do that kind of dollar looking thing on the back where you have, let's see if I stretched all my loops out a little bit now. Okay, that's my thumb loop. This is my second loop. This is the bunny ear on the left. There is a bunny ear back here on the right. Okay, so M1, F1. Pick up the third loop which is basically the bunny ear on the left from right to left, then go underneath the second loop like that, and then go forward under your thumb loop and under your, so in a finish. But because of that one over there, it's a turn loop, it's a turning stitch. I believe it's classified as a turning stitch. Then you pull through. Let's see, there we go. And it looks really loose on the end and really wrong, but it's not. By the time you get about 3 stitches in, it's like, so don't, I mean, it'll be tempting to try to tighten your end loops, but don't do it because it will tighten up on its own. So there you go, M1, F1. And then you take the third loop, which is the bunny ear on the left. I have to just look for it. There it is. Bunny ear on the left. And then under the second loop, then down through the first and the... So this one is not the easiest one. It's not the easiest one to do, but now that you've done arboga, for example, you got an idea of turning loops. Now that you've done dollarna, you get this motion. It's just that you're not doing it down here, you're doing it behind. And because we've already looked at M1 all last month, you should have an idea a little bit where that middle loop is. But this is, when you join, when you first start doing it, it'll look a bit like dollarna for the initial chain. But when you join it together, then it'll start doing this. And this is one where you're, if you normally start with 8 to 10 stitches for Åsle, you are probably going to easily use 14 or more to do a round start. I think I did 20 on this one, which was too many. And then it started to wave a little bit, so immediately on the next row, instead of increasing in every other, I increased in every 5th. It was that wavy, and that kind of fixed it. But by then I had so many loops on here, if I had counted them out, that I didn't need to increase anymore, so I stopped increasing. And this is not going to be a mitten, this is going to be a pouch, by the way, because I only have this much of this yarn. So, mom stash. I should have probably made wrist warmers. Anyway. But I do actually have a pair of mittens I made out of these once, which is wonderful. I have to figure out where to put them. But to do this, it is actually 10 times easier to make a chain and then run the tail through the deconstructed round start instead of trying to, there's so much weirdness going on behind this thumb. So I would do the deconstructed round start where you start with a chain, have a long tail on it, and then run the tail through the bottom of the stitches and pull tight. So you get that round start. It looks like a little sunburst. Anyhow, okay, one more time, and then I'll come up for air and show you Karl's, the questions you have for Karl. So M1, so that way, F1, so middle one, front one, the bunny ear on the left, from right to left, and then you pick up, you go back and pick up the second loop from underneath, and then you go under the thumb loop, and there. Oh, it smells like they're starting up the grill. Somebody, is it Georg that's starting it? Because he really is a pyromaniac. It smells like Tenviska. What is that called? Lighter fluid?
Ignition fluid. It's not the same as lighter fluid.
It's not the same as lighter fluid because it doesn't light up a lighter, but what do you call it when you, the stuff you pull a spray on the grill to get your charcoal to light up, and some guys overdo it and they end up starting the whole house on fire.
I think I would call it ignition fluid.
I'm pretty sure we call it lighter fluid. Ignition sounds like something for a car.
No, but lighter fluid is, it's...
Yeah, but it's not for a lighter like you have there.
I know, but it's not chemically the same thing. This thing wouldn't, this isn't lighter fluid.
No.
Lighter fluid is what you use in a Zippo.
Yep.
This is butane under pressure.
Well, that's definitely not that.
And butane under pressure is liquid, so it's liquid inside the lighter, but as soon as I open it, it gets into gas form.
So I forget what we call it in English. I've been away too long. But you put it on your charcoal or squirt some on there, hopefully not too much, let it soak in a bit, and then when you light it.
You will see entire compilations of YouTube movies about people in particular the South of America blowing their grills to smithereens by using too much of it.
Yep. They underestimate how effective it is. A little goes a long way. You just have to let it soak into the charcoal. Yeah, so no, this needle is actually doing quite all right. See, I'm just helping someone with finding a campsite. Okay, yeah, no, that was Greg. That's going to give us a ride. So it is working. This needle, for all intents and purposes, is working really well for this. except that tip is like flat and it's got a sharp, it's kind of got like an edge around it. So that part is tricky. I have to actually, because it wants to split my yarn and get caught on there like that. So I have to be very slow about it. But if I was using my tapestry needle, for example, then it would go much faster because I wouldn't be so worried about splitting my, I just did it there actually, splitting my yarn with that edge. Okay, so one more. But we'll be playing with this stitch all month. But yeah, if you're gonna do it, do a thin thread, a thinner thread, and do not tighten it more than to your needle, just until you get used to it. Oh, I see I have a little flaw in my yarn here. Okay, we have to get past the flaw part because that's gonna bug the shit out of me. We did do this, we've done this stitch the last 2 years as well, I think is in the stitch of the month. We have to get that end in there somehow. But it's not the easiest stitch, but with all those other ones we've tried this year, it should help out a little bit. Okay, I think one more and then I'm past the annoying part of my yarn. Apparently I've let this yarn sit too long. It's starting to get threadbare. Yeah, we actually have quite a few Vikings in the village this weekend. It's not full, but it's still quite a bit considering school has started in the United States as well. There you go.
The girl who had the question about, no, not a question, the comment about microbiology and people misunderstanding. What exactly did she say?
I'll read it one more time. Let's see, a little bit further up. Yeah, is my response to Karl's comment that eventually there's no new questions. Laugh out loud. Teaching biology, biotechnology labs, watching people come up with new and creative ways to completely misunderstand instructions.
I have done chemistry laboratory as a kind of an education.
I'm
That's
putting the camera on you
actually
now.
the closest I am to having a fulfilled education is that I'm almost a laboratory technician.
That's why that one got to you.
And in my experience, these people are generally pretty good at following instructions to the letter, to their detriment in some cases. But I came up with, I remember 2 stories. One is, okay, basically to understand this one, a spatula in Norwegian is spatel. And I had one girl reading the instructions and then looking at me and going, "Hva en spatel?" So I immediately think, okay, you have only read about this. You have no practical experience whatsoever in the laboratory. I have to keep an eye on you. And that turned out to be a good idea. Because a little bit later, I catch her washing a bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid in the sink with soap water.
That's not good. That's Agent Orange.
No.
No?
But if
What
the
is it?
water somehow gets into the bottle, you will have a very...
Mustard gas?
No, you would have a very annoying exothermic reaction.
Okay.
It would basically go boom.
Uh-huh. Yeah, obviously you didn't watch her closely enough then.
No, I kind of did, because I stopped her before it went boom.
Yeah.
But I was basically going, I'm kind of hiding behind the closet and then kind of looking forward like this and going, excuse me, are you washing a bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid in the sink? And she goes, yeah, it was dirty. And I go, yeah, but no.
By the way, they love Karl lore. One person wrote, I love Karl lore, and about 5 people agreed. So I actually like the Karl lore too as well. Okay, so yeah, but you had a question though. Oh yeah, go ahead.
What's the question?
Are you going to finish telling your story or do you want the
Yeah,
question?
no, I just had a tangent, but the tangent isn't that important.
No, but the tangents are fun. Go ahead, tangent away.
I sometimes have the impression that because of destiny, I'm basically being educated to be the perfect assassin without knowing about it. Because I was trying to be a gunsmith, but my eyesight isn't good enough for the small precision you need to do gunsmithing work. So then I go, okay, fuck it, I can do chemistry because I'm good at chemistry. I don't like it, but I'm good at it. So I do chemistry and learn to become a laboratory technician. And in this context, I learn a lot about toxology and that sort of stuff. And then back and forth through many different occupations. And then I work at the cemetery. And one of the things I learned to do extremely well is to basically sew the ground shot on top of the grave. So I can take little pieces of turf, cut them away, make a 6-foot grave beneath it, and then put it back together again, just like it was. So nobody finds the body.
Oh my God.
So I have the theoretical education of an assassin, basically. But what was the question?
He's mine. Back off. Okay, so the question, actually, this is a good one. We haven't had this question before. Viking smoking in a beautiful valley setting. You're just an ass, Karl. You're ruining everything. Okay, Mariella Woodman. Hi, by the way, Robin's sister. Karl, was falconry around in the Viking Age? Falconry or falconry, however you want to pronounce that. Was it around in the Viking Age?
That I honestly don't know.
I know, that's a good question.
It is. I think it is a very old sport among nobility, so I think it probably was. But I would need to have sources to say that for sure.
You got homework. Good job, Mariella. You totally, you stumped him. That look on his face there.
Is there anything on the Bayeux tapestry?
I believe there are a few birds at least.
Yeah, but
there's quite a few animals on that one actually.
Somebody with the glove and
the You're Dead to Me podcast has a really good podcast or sending on episode on the Bayeux Tapestry, by the way, which has a lot of lore on there that people don't think about.
Yeah, no, I'll check that. I will actually check until next episode of YouTube, I think.
He promised.
Because that's interesting.
Well, and then there's the whole thing about messenger pigeon, where they've done something similar to that too, even not just the falconry, but
that's more recent.
Yeah.
Messenger pigeons theoretically could be very beneficial for large sprawling empires like the Roman one or the Byzantine one, but I don't think they use them at all. I think the first time messenger pigeons actually were used sensibly was during the First World War.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not entirely sure.
The thing with using birds to light a house on fire or attack a village.
It's probably bullshit, but it's a good story.
Yeah, tell the story about that one, by the way. Because I like that story, but I don't know what era it's from. Was that like a Roman thing or?
No. It's Harald Harada before he becomes king of Norway.
Okay, so it was a Viking thing.
He is a mercenary for the Byzantine Empire. Then he kind of becomes like the leader of the Varangian Guard. And he is sent to Sicily. And in his campaign in Sicily, he takes 3 cities, and he takes all of them in super creative ways. The thing with this story is that some of the element of the story also is told about other people doing exactly the same thing. So it's a little bit annoying, but the way it goes is that the first city he takes is on an open plain, and it's a well-fortified city.
Yeah.
So he tells his men to make a camp as if you're going to besiege this place, but don't actually besiege it, and don't actually stop anybody going through the gates. Just hang around. And people will be standing on the walls trying to insult you, but just pretend you don't speak the language and smile and wave every time they insult you. And the Vikings are just hanging around, and people are going, okay, this is very, very scary. We have a lot of Norse barbarians hanging around outside our village. But they don't seem to do anything. People can come and go as they please, and the Vikings don't really care. And when people start getting used to it, he starts having them play some kind of ball game. And they keep playing closer and closer and closer to the city gates. And the people in the city are kind of watching this game and going, okay, they're nuts. I don't know what they're doing. And
Roger's comment, sorry.
One day when they are close enough to the gates, he orders the players to, okay, I can't let you wear armor, but take your weapons and hide them under your clothes, and when I give the signal, attack the gates. So they take enormous casualties when they attack the gates because they're not wearing armor. But they manage to hold the gate until he can move the rest of the army through the gates and take the city. So the city is taken. The next city is not this well fortified, but it's on the top of a mountain, so it's very hard to get to. So he kind of observed the city and he noticed that swallows are nesting in the roofs in the city. So he orders all of his men to just capture small birds, swallows, whatever. And then he takes a piece of birch bark, cover it with pitch, put fire to it, and let all the birds go at once. The birds panic, of course, and some of them fly back to their nests in the city and put the city on fire, and the city surrenders, and he takes it. The last one is like a combination of the first two. It's a very well fortified city on top of a mountain. So it's basically untakeable. And he besieges it, and now he besieges it correctly, basically by letting nothing in or out. But they have enough resources that they can just hold it. And when they start getting out of resources and plague starts to get around, it hits the Vikings, not the people in the city. And he himself gets really, really sick. And he is on his deathbed pretty much. And his soldiers, the rumor starts spreading that he is dead. But then he gets better. And he gets back up on his feet. And his doctor says, oh, this is great. Now I can tell your man that you are back with us and everything will be all right. And he says, no, don't tell them. Tell the city that I'm dead and I want to be buried in the city.
This is straight out of a Vikings episode.
Yes.
I know, that's where they got it from.
This story is also sometimes contributed to Bjørn Ironside.
Yes.
At the Siege of Luna. Which is confusing to me because in Snorri's Chronicle of Norwegian Kings, this is Harald Harada on Sicily. But enough of that. So they decide that, okay, he's a Christian, so having a great Christian leader buried in our city would be good for tourism, because people will come to visit his grave, and that's good for the city. So yeah, no, let the Vikings bury their leader in our city. So he gets a small group of his men to carry weapons and be his honor guard and carry his casket into the city to be buried. And they are very sad because they've lost a great leader who has already taken 2 Sicilian cities and been a great leader up until this point. But their mood gets a little bit better when he all of a sudden jumps out of his casket and just starts killing people left and right of the funeral. Let's do this! And you have the Vikings taking over the city basically from the inside. Whether these stories are true or not, hard to say. But
you might have had the sound cut out a couple of times in the very end there, because send a message to Greg that that we can be ready. I think he's trying to call us anyway. That's why it's the sound, because when he calls in, then the sound kind of does things. So if you can send a message.
Oh, we're over time.
Yeah, we're way over time. But there were some interesting comments here too. I like Roger says, I can see Monty Python Castle story. Let's see. According to Wikipedia, says Pruda, 1070s, the Bayeux Tapestry shows King Harald of England with a hawk in one scene. The king is said to have owned the largest collection of the book on sport in all of Europe.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought I'd seen falconry on the Bayeux Tapestry. But
let's see. I have to go a little bit further back. Robert says falconry was more of a pastime for the elites, though the Dark Ages through the Dark Ages and before, right into the medieval period. They were pretty complicated. They were a pretty complicated hierarchy regarding that the falcons and raptors that could be used by the societal rank, which could be used by which societal rank you were.
as far as
or you could use Eric's home brew aquavit This is, oh no, that's something different.
As far
Because he was thinking about the lighter
as
thing.
hunting goes,
Yeah.
the falconry is the most complicated way to do a relatively simple thing.
Yeah.
The relatively simple thing is to catch a small animal to eat it. And the very complicated way to do it is to catch a bird of prey, tame it so it hunts it for you.
Karl was talking about Harald. Does he have a more English name than that?
No, Harald Harråde på norsk,
Harald, sorry.
which means Harald the hard ruler, or Harald the hard to advise. Old Norse is kind of funny
You
with
can walk
its
this
being
way if you carry stuff.
somewhat ambivalent.
Yeah.
And both of these things are true. So it might be on purpose that I called him this.
Yep.
Because he's both a hard ruler, he is somebody who is very
We do have a stitch of the
hard
month.
to advise, because he is pretty convinced that he knows what to do. So he doesn't really listen to his advisors.
Yep. Rodisby was asking, do we have a stitch of the month? Came in just a little bit late then, but back further, look for the orange yarn. We have Åsle stitch this month. We're going to start walking towards Greg, who's probably waiting for us. Albert says they would have had shitty fighters that hardly worked too. They would take 40 minutes to start one time. Oh, this is a. They would take 40 minutes to start a one-time use grill that only takes 15 minutes to get started, but not ready. The lighter thing. They would in the Viking Age to light the birds on fire, etc. Yeah, it's Åsle, just like Max wrote it in the chat there. O-A with a circle over it, S-L-E, not to be confused with Oslo.
What's the context of the shitty fighters that don't work?
That would have been the story about the birds, I believe. Let's see.
Shitty fighters that don't work.
Yeah, I can't touch chat now because I'm holding your beer, but we'll walk around this way so I don't show everybody it's at the table. Because not everybody wants to be on film. But I think Greg is looking for us. Here, hold this. Hold your other beer and then I can scroll. Let's see. AI thinks that was a different King. Laugh out loud. AI is thick. Hello, Ask. Say hi to YouTube. You're at the very end of it. Oh, he's taken, ladies. Okay. Are you gonna make a short clip describing the stitch as well? I can probably do that. I have to go and make a 30-minute or 30-second clip I think I can do out of the ones that I already have. But yeah, I will. It's October, I think, is the last month we're open for. Yeah, November 1st is when we go to half days. But it's already starting to be able to catch up on things I fell behind on during the summer. And YouTube is one of those things on the list that we need to make more of these little short reels and stuff. We need to start the member thing, use the post picture of the day. So we will get to that, but it's like August and September is starting to catch up.
I'm still milling the shitty fighters comment around in my head. And I'm pretty sure I had shitty fighters, but I'm pretty sure also that I didn't have them for long.
No, I'm going to go back and get the last couple questions out of the chat, and we'll bring them on at the beginning of the next month. Yeah, the sun is beautiful back there. That's why I'm showing this instead of Karl, because not as beautiful. But yeah, no, it's absolutely gorgeous back there.
I'm also absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, man, you didn't even get to your second beer and you're already a little thrunk.
It's 10%, woman.
It's agate. And the other one was, what is the other one? The Trappist?
This is 8.1.
Yeah, you're saving that for next week.
Yes, if I had that one too, I would be animated.
Yeah. Did you send Greg a message, by the way?
No, I have.
Okay,
how many hands do I have, woman?
Well, I told you to do it a while ago. Type faster. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera. Say bye. And next Saturday, I'm going to catch up those last questions, the shitty fighter and all that other stuff. And the lighters from the... Karl is better than the sun. He doesn't quit because it's nighttime. Glad you think so, because soon it'll be too dark to be outside. Okay, see you next week, 6:30 Saturday. Okay, bye-bye.